Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching an awesome episode of Soulcaster mashup with Foodcaster. So we're gonna talk about some interesting things that you can put in your body, having a relationship with the fruits of nature, but we're also gonna talk about spiritual side of these things. We're gonna talk about herbs. And our special guest is Megan. How you doing, Megan?
Okay.
That's not you, Megan.
That's not me. That's me.
But that's a little taste of what's going to happen there. Alrighty, and we're going to put your social media up there for anyone that wants to follow you, ask you questions, and of course, here I am, Michael 7 Michael. So, well, first, thank you for coming today.
Of course.
And we're going to talk about herbs. Why should we even be talking about herbs? What's herbs about?
What are herbs about?
Yeah.
So herbs are, if you think about it, we've, as human beings, have existed for my short lifespan's 32 years. So many generations. But herbs are a part of this planet. They've been around for so much longer, and they have such a beautiful intelligence to them. And unfortunately, we live in a society where people have forgotten the power of herbs, what they have to offer to your body, to your physical health, your mental health, your spiritual health. So I work as an herbalist, and my focus is to help people empower themselves and educate themselves about how different herbs can help them on all those different fronts. So I think of herbal medicine as a very powerful medicine that's very old, very special, very powerful, and really fascinating. Like, for example, we were talking, you mentioned the spiritual aspect. I've learned as an herbalist, I started working more with the spiritual aspect because my father's Native American. And then as I grew as an herbalist, I learned more the medicinal properties of herbs. So violet, for example, spiritually and energetically, it's for love magic, self-love,
the color.
Love. No, well, the herb violet leaf.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it's like self-love, heart chakra, that kind of work. But then medicinally, it's actually the cardiovascular system. So it's very hand in hand. It's really interesting when you learn these multifaceted personalities of the herbs and how they can help you. It's really cool.
Now, it's interesting because you mentioned the chakras.
Yeah.
And when you think of purple, you're thinking of the
crown chakra.
The crown chakra.
Yeah.
How is it in knowing a little bit about crystals, and we got some
the amethyst
crystals over here where purple, again, the crown chakra. This Mother Nature thing.
She's tricky.
I mean, it's a little crazy. I mean, wow.
Yeah, totally.
Does that work in the herbal world too, where the colors?
Can, sometimes.
But not all the time.
Not all the time. Different plants sometimes will flower different colors depending on the environment they're in.
Okay.
How healthy they are. I have a plant that's been growing in my backyard that's been blooming white for years. This year it bloomed yellow.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it depends on the environment, the situation, what that herb is for. They often come to you though, like if there's something that you need, you'll notice it growing in your backyard, if you have a backyard.
Actually, you told me a very interesting story the other day. Can you share that and then get deeper into herbs? But you said that a gentleman had something wrong with him?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I have a friend who, we are companions on the magical level.
Okay.
But he called me one day and he was like, he lives with his family upstate, and he was like, I've noticed that celandine has been growing in my mom's backyard. And he lives with his family now. And I was like, well, that's interesting. Has it grown there before? And he was like, no, I was raised in this house, and I've never seen celandine in the backyard before. And I was like, I think you should be careful with your sexual endeavors. And he was just kind of like, what? And I was like, I think you should just be careful. And sure enough, a couple of months later, he called me and said that he had gone to the doctor and was tested positive for a type of herpes that can cause cancer.
Wow.
And the only herb that's actually helpful with calming the blisters is celandine.
Wow.
And I was like, harvest as much as you possibly can, you know. And so he has been, and he's been working with it, and it's been really helping him. It's been soothing to him.
Wow.
But that was before he even, you know, had that happen, and the celandine just knew it came to him. So herbs, if you're aware and if you look and you're open, you know, they're there to hug you, you know.
So where do we start?
Where do you want to start?
Well, let's the weather's changing.
Yes.
People are getting sick.
It's that time.
It's that time of the year. So let's start with the common cold.
Okay. Yeah.
What can we do?
Well, I would, depending on, you know, what environment you're living in, whether you're in the city or if you're in the country, you know, your body has to acclimate to the change of the weather. So I would work with adaptogens. What does that mean? So adaptogens are herbs and mushrooms that can go into your body and help you adapt with whatever's happening. So you can go through a snowstorm or run a marathon or have a fight with someone, like whatever stress your body goes through, adaptogens help you handle that. And it helps your body step up to the challenge, if that makes sense. So what are some adaptogens? Reishi mushroom is really amazing.
Which, say it again?
Reishi mushroom.
Reishi.
It's a really beautiful mushroom. And SCHISANDRA, ELEUTHERO, which is also known as Siberian ginseng. There's so many.
Now, would you take that through the fall, the winter, or just all year round?
I mean, I take, there's this, yeah, every day. Yeah. Totally. But this time of year for sure, like, especially if you're, you know, the harsh weather changes so much, you definitely want to step up your game and really give your body the tools that it needs to be able to fight the challenge.
Now, that helps with the immune system?
Yeah, your immune system, just your physical strength, your emotional strength, you know. There's a blend, I believe it was called Prime One, that was structured in Russia for Russian Olympians during the Olympics to help them handle the climate change, as well as the physical stress that they were going through, as well as the emotional stress. And it had a lot of really beautiful adaptogens. I think that was a very similar formula. Whereas like the ELEUTHERO, the SCHISANDRA, the REISHI, TULSI, holy basil, you know. So it just really helps your body handle and manage. So I would definitely start by incorporating adaptogens into your diet. And I encourage people to research the different adaptogens because there are so many. And they all have beautiful personalities, you know. And so just like how I get along with you, I might not get along the same with somebody else. So herbs are the same because they're alive. You know, they are from this planet, so they have a consciousness. So when they go into your system, I like to kind of describe them as like little secret agents. You know, they go in and they're like, where can I help? You know, oh, this over here, let's go over here. You know, and the more that you work with them, the more they can help you. Because they're not linear. They don't just do one thing. They help however they can. So I personally like to work with each herb and each mushroom individually and see how I work with them, you know. And after a while, sometimes I'm just like, oh, well, this really helped me for a long time, but I think I'm done with it. Like, I think it's time for me to move on to the next one, you know.
Oh, wow.
So it's really cool because sometimes, you know, they help you and then you don't need them anymore, which is really awesome, you know, because you were able to work through something. So adaptogens, regardless, you're always going to be going through something. So that's a really important thing to work with, for sure. And then
again, it's specific ones, not just any mushroom.
No, like not. I wouldn't don't ever go into the woods and just pick a mushroom.
Okay.
You know, but yeah, like reishi mushroom is great. Chaga is really good. Shiitake, maitake. You can make some really amazing medicinal soups, which I can talk about later if you like. Yeah, mushrooms can be really very medicinal. So those are great. But herbs, you know, like I love Tulsi. Tulsi is my favorite. I like to describe it as drinking a hug. You know, because it's just very comforting. It's delicious. It's also known as holy basil. Tulsi is an Indian goddess as well. So like if you go to India, there's almost every house has a Tulsi plant in their front yard. you know.
Oh,
it's
wow.
cool. Yeah, so it's really interesting because you get to learn these different personalities of each herb and how they can help you. And most of the time you're drawn to one. You're like, well, I think it's time for me to work with this one, see how this is, you know. So
Now, can you grow them in your house, indoor, or?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, mushrooms are harder to grow, but yeah, I have a lot of herbs growing in my backyard, and during the wintertime I bring them in. I have a big window, so I put them in there. That way I have them with me. And then sometimes, you know, if it's a harder herb to get a hold of, I just get it from a store in the city, you know.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I would definitely work with that for sure. I would also start working with antivirals and antibacterial herbs, you know.
And what would those be?
Ginger,
Okay.
garlic, horseradish.
Oh, the favorites!
Yeah.
That everybody knows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cooking is medicine. You know?
So, but now, you know when you have those big containers and you'll have garlic, garlic powder. Is it better to just get garlic and cut it up? Does it make a difference, or?
I would, because of the oils of the plant.
Okay.
The powdered, you know, it's been powdered down and it's dried, so you're not going to get like the, you know, the volatile oils that it has to offer you.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, if you're able to, garlic, regardless of what form it comes in, is going to be amazing to help you with your immune system, especially. You know, so there's a really old recipe that is called fire cider. Yeah.
I like fire cider. That's one of my favorite things.
Yeah. So fire cider can be different recipes. It can be what I do personally.
Wait, can you make it yourself?
Yes.
So you don't have to go to the store and buy the.
No, you can make it yourself.
Okay, we gotta talk.
Okay, I'll teach you how to.
Because I'm spending a lot of money.
Yeah, and you can change it however you like to. Yeah.
I would like to do that.
Yeah. So fire cider, if you buy a bottle of like Bragg's apple cider vinegar, and I usually pour out like about 2 shots, and I usually, because I'm hardcore, you know, like I'll do the 2 shots, and then I put sliced up garlic. I put thyme, a twig of thyme from my garden. I usually do 3 types of peppers, so like jalapeno, habanero, and then whatever third one I find, like usually dragon, because I usually have those in my backyard. So I'll do like 3 kinds. I'll slice them in half and I'll put them in the bottle, and then I'll put red pepper flakes and black pepper. And that's what I do. Sometimes I'll add ginger, but then there's so many other recipes that you can do, and you just close it and you shake it and then you keep it in the fridge, and as it sits in the fridge it gets stronger and stronger, and it gets really spicy and delicious. And if you just pour like a little bit, you can add elderberries if you like, because elderberries are really amazing for the immune system. Ashwagandha, that's another adaptogen, so adding adaptogens to it, that's really great. And you just pour it into a glass of water and add warm water if you like, or just shoot it, because it's, if you like spicy things, you know, it's delicious. I love it, you know, like I'll just do it straight, and people are like, you're crazy, and I'm like, I know. You know, it's so good, you know, and it really just, it goes into your body and it helps fortify and nourish and like helps your body step up and like challenge, you know, meet the challenge of like whatever
you're dealing with, your fighting.
Yeah, you know. So it's amazing. So yeah, make your own fire cider.
Yeah, because I've been using that for a while and not going to the doctor, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Especially for little cough, little cold.
Yeah.
Might take a couple of days, might even take 2 weeks, but I'm not taking pills. I'm not taking something manufactured to do the same thing.
Because you're teaching your body to fight for itself, not rely on something else.
Yeah.
You know, which is, we're mammals, you know.
Which is awesome. It's great.
Yeah, totally.
Wow.
So that's fire cider for you.
So let's see, what is this here? What is this about?
What is this about? So these are different soups and things that you can do, medicinal soups and broths that you can make at this time of year to help your body nourish itself. You know, not everybody always has time to just like make a big giant thing of tea or fire cider, you know. So, but everybody eats every day, you know. So if you make a big vat of soup or broth, you know, that can last you throughout the week. So you can use different beautiful herbs. Everybody eats, like you go to the grocery store, you buy yourself some lovely, lovely basil, bay leaves, onions, celery, carrots. You can make yourself a really beautiful soup. If you eat meat, you can make a chicken soup. Often.
And now this almost looks like you're frying something here. What is that in the back?
That's actually a photo that a lovely person that I know named Jade took. So she's making a soup in that one, but I'm not sure what all else is in there. Okay. But yeah, so mushrooms, sage.
I never thought of sage to.
Sage is very lovely.
Ingest.
Oh yeah, it's so tasty to cook with. You can smoke it too.
Well, I was burning some sage earlier.
Yeah, I could tell I smelled it.
Yeah, but I never thought you could put it in your body.
Of course, yeah.
What?
You can do it for energetic purposes too, like to remove negative energy if you feel like you're like trying to detox something, from something. Whether that be like a toxic relationship or experience, you can drink some sage tea and just really visualize that, like eliminating the negative energy.
Wow.
Sage is a very powerful plant. Yeah, so you can play and experiment with all the different types of soups and broths that you can make. I think my go-to is chicken soup, like old school, like grandma style. That's my chicken soup right there. You can see the chicken sticking out from below the celery. So that I'll take the entire chicken and skin it, and I'll put it in the pot. Cover it with water and garlic, as much garlic as I can handle, which is never enough. I love garlic. Onion, carrot, celery, bay leaves, and then I'll season it however I like.
I never thought of garlic as a herb.
Oh, it's a plant.
It's a plant, so there you go.
Yeah. And then I let it simmer for 8 hours. And then I leave the bones in, because that's actually where you get your nourishing aspect. The bones have the marrow. So it helps your immune system. So you get all of the beautiful qualities of the different herbs and plants, and then you also get the nourishing aspect. But then for people who are vegetarian or vegan,
Yes, what am I supposed to do? Talk to me here.
So then instead of using like animal, then you would use mushrooms.
Okay.
Definitely, like the maitake, shiitake, reishi. Oh, they're so tasty. There's one that's called chicken of the woods. Tastes like chicken, but it's a mushroom, and it's delicious.
What's that called?
Chicken of the woods. Yeah.
Chicken of the woods.
Yeah. It's so good. So yeah, you can.
Do you know where I could pick up some of this chicken of the woods?
You can go to the farmers market in Union Square. There's usually a fella that has like a stand where he harvests mushrooms.
Wow.
And there's quite a few people up in the Catskills that harvest beautiful mushrooms as well.
Okay.
So, but I would always encourage you to make sure that if you're getting wild crafted mushrooms, make sure it's from someone who really knows what they're doing,
Yeah.
Obviously.
And now what is this one here?
That is, it's like kale and leek and...
Oh, watch the mic on this side.
Oh, what?
The microphone watch.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
It's like kale and leek and onion and just like a nice nourishing broth that it's been soaked in. Yeah. So soups and mushrooms. Yeah. Mushrooms. You can use schisandra berries. Schisandra is a really beautiful berry. They call it the 5 flavor berry. And the reason why is because when you take it, you taste it and you go through the different flavors. So you get the bitter, you get the sour, you get the sweet, etc. And often whatever flavor you pick up on is what your body needs. So for me, whenever I most people actually, like 80% of Americans, because we don't have it very much in our diet, is we pick up the bitter. So we need more bitters in our body. And we have more bitter receptors in our entire body than we do anything else. We have it in our brain, all the way through the entire digestive tract, So most people nowadays, like everything has sugar in it, So we need the bitters to help build our gut flora and like really help build our immune system. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you can use so many different things. And if you like to make tart broths or soured broths or spicy broths, you can do so many different things.
So are you going to invite everybody to you in the holiday season to come eat? Because it sounds like you kind of throw down there.
Oh, well, I'm from the South, of course. There's no such thing as making a single meal in my house, you know, like I make it for people. Well, yeah, so I don't know what my plans are for the holidays.
You don't have to invite everybody. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
So don't stop stalking. If you have questions, you can hit the Instagram.
Yeah, I'll take pictures of all the food that I make, though.
Yeah, you check that out and support.
Yeah. So then the next thing that you can do is you can make infusions. So I think most people like to drink tea, I think. But the one thing about drinking tea, especially for this time of year, like when you're really trying to keep from getting sick, so I think the most common regimen of making tea is like you boil the water, you pour it over the tea bag, you let it sit for about 15 minutes, and then you take the tea bag out and you drink. Right. That's what most people do. Right. That's great. You will get some of the aroma as well as the maybe some of the color of the herb, but you're not really going to get the medicinal constituents of the herb. So the best way to, especially at this time of year, like if you're really getting sick, really wanting to build your immune system, or if you already are sick and you're really wanting to just like rebuild your health, you want as much of the constituents that the herb has to offer as possible. Right. So if you have like a French press or a large jar, you can put the herbs in the bottom of the jar or the French press and fill it to the top of the boiling water, and then go to bed and let it steep overnight for 8 hours. That way you really pull all of that nourishing aspect and all the medicinal qualities of the herb that it has to offer, you know. And then with the French press, you can press it down, or with the jar, you'll have to strain it, you know. And then you've got this beautiful, strong cup of tea. And if it's too strong, you can dilute it, but you're still really getting all those benefits that it has to offer you. And then drink the tea throughout the day. That way you're getting your hydration, you're getting your water, but you're also getting the medicine of the herbs.
Who decided to just boil water and put things in it?
I don't know. That's a really good question. Like, who was that person that was just like, if I do this,
just boil the water, put things in it.
Yeah.
And we'll call it a soup.
Yeah, that's a really good question. Totally.
But it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Totally.
And all the nutrients ends up in the water.
Yeah, and then you just drink it. Yeah. My favorite tea for this time of year, especially if I feel, because I work with the public and I'm always touching people and, you know, handling money and all this, like, whenever I feel like I'm getting sick, when I get sick, it's a big deal. So, like, I really have to fight, you know, to keep my health. So my favorite thing to do, especially this time of year, is actually to buy just like a fresh ginger root and put it through the food processor or a blender, and then put it into a pot, fill it with water, bring it to a boil, and then drop it down to a simmer and cover it and let it sit for 3 or 4 hours, and just like let it really pull all those amazing aspects of the ginger, and then add the juice of a full lemon and some honey to taste. I like to do local honey, because local honey, if you think about it, if you have allergies or you deal with pollen and you're like super sensitive, which a lot of people are, you know, if you're taking honey in, what you're doing is you're ingesting that pollen that you're allergic to. Right? Right. So your body's going to create its own defense mechanism. So you're going to be able to tolerate more. Like, your tolerance is going to go up. So if you take the local honey, then your allergies are actually going to be lessened. You know? So what I like to do is like a local honey, you know, because this time of year, like, the weather's changing, people are like, oh, you know. So then I'll do that, and then I'll strain it. So I've got like a cheesecloth usually, or a strainer, and just like really press down on the root once you get to that, and really press out the moisture. And then you've got this fantastic tea. It tastes really good. It's got that little spice, you know, little kick, you know, but then it's got the sweetness. The lemon is acidic, so it cuts through any mucus that you might have if you already are sick. The lemon will soothe your throat if you are sick, you know. It's amazing. It's so
I just want to run out and pick berries, leaves all of a sudden, talking to you, because it sounds so exciting.
It's so much fun. I was doing that the other day, actually. I went upstate, and I was like picking like leaves and just eating them straight, and my friend that I was with was just like, you are crazy. And I was like, this is delicious. It's yellow, Doc, taste it. And he was like, oh. But no, it's, yeah.
And again, as a disclaimer, do not just pick anything growing and start eating it, smelling it, sniffing it, because there are things that are also poisonous.
Totally. Yeah, please. Yeah, please.
Yeah.
be aware of what you're
Don't
doing.
be like, la, 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 la. No.
No.
Don't do that.
Obviously, yeah. No.
Well, no, you have to say it.
No, it's true. I know.
not obvious.
It's true. It's so true. Yeah.
But I guess it would be safe to say, you know what, what about if you go to, I don't want to promote any particular super grocery stores, but if I went to the Whole Check or the, what was the other one? You know, any of those kind of places.
The Nature Mart.
Yeah, obviously I could buy whatever's there and I could eat there.
Absolutely.
What's accessible at your grocery store that you could just jump into today without running into the woods or finding someone with your expertise?
Well, I mean, spinach, kale, greens, you know, let me think about all the vegetables and fruits they have, you know. So many herbs. They have so many herbs for sale as well. Rosemary, you know, thyme, sage, oregano.
And you put that in the soup as well?
Yeah, why not? Oh my
I
God.
never thought of doing that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So good. I cook with rosemary all the time. Rosemary is it's more for the brain though, but.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What does rosemary do with the...
It's really good for memory and helping cognition.
Okay.
You know? Yeah. It's also delicious.
It's also delicious.
It's also delicious.
And they have tons of mushrooms. Well, not tons of mushrooms, but they have different
They
mushrooms
usually
there.
have like shiitake, portobello. Sometimes you'll find maitake. You know.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the more extensive, I think if you find more of a local health food store, they usually tend to have like the more like maitake and all those like turkey tail and things like that. You know.
Okay.
Yeah. Also depends on what time of year it is and what kind of season it was too. You know, like this year was very rainy, so mushrooms were just super abundant this year because they were so happy. You know. But drier years, they're not.
Which makes sense. That means we need it.
Yeah.
Nature was talking to us.
Exactly.
Even though the powers that be are messing around with nature, but that's another show.
That's another show.
So that's another show. Because based on the stories that you've shared today as well as before, nature will provide.
Yeah.
This is happening. I got you.
Yeah.
Rainy because you need this. Mushrooms are happy because obviously we need to be eating more mushrooms.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if they're messing around with the weather machine, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
But anyway, thank you so much for this. And
Pleasure.
tell everybody your social media.
Oh, okay. So my social media is Megaleg, Megeleg. When you follow me on Instagram, you'll see in the bio my business account that I just started. It's Wolf and Candle Apothecary. And it has a few of the things that I do. As an herbalist, I also work as a spiritual counselor. I do tarot and astrology and energy healing. So yeah.
And we're gonna do another episode and talk about that.
Cool.
So let's do that. But thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Michael 7 Michael. And we're talking to Megan. And this is a wonderful edition of Soulcaster mashup with Foodcaster, talking about food, relationship with food, the wellness, everything in food, everything out there can heal you and be a part of your personal journey, but also talking about Soulcaster and how this affects you on another level. Thank you very much, and we will see you next time.